Welcome to the Ultimate Marketing Podcast with Dee, Vish and Sarah. We're going to be sharing strategies and tactics on how to grow and scale your business online. So today's topic is all about email marketing.
Yes, sir.
One of my favourite subjects.
It is. I just saw your face light up when you spoke about that. You're like, oh, it's one of my favourite subjects.
Email marketing.
Yeah. This is like, we were talking about happy places. This is your happy place, isn't it, Sarah?
I'm happy when I'm talking about email marketing.
Take us away. Take us away on this journey then. Go on.
Okay. So what we want to talk about today really is, why is email marketing so important? And do people do it in their business or not?
That's the thing, isn't it? Do people do it? Because there is just so much now of so many different strategies of staying in touch with your customers that people often forget about the power of email marketing still, don't they? And also with all the, like, I remember when I was first properly starting to do it, not that long ago, probably like 3 years ago, it was just at the time when, you know, I think iOS and all of these big like domains like Yahoo and Gmail, and they were like cutting down on the deliverability of these CRM systems, etc. So it's almost like, well, are my emails even going to get through?
Yeah, there was obviously that, like, you know, iOS gate and all that sort of stuff. But also, like, do you not find, Sarah, like that everyone's got shiny object syndrome about the next thing compared
Definitely.
to email marketing? There's so many better things you could be doing. Whereas actually, if someone's opted in and given you their email address, surely they want you to contact them, right?
It still is one of the most powerful forms of marketing. So there's often, you know, sometimes people say, is email marketing dead? And it definitely is not dead. It's definitely very much alive.
You should like share some examples around, like, like open rates? That's what everyone talks about, is open rates, isn't it? Right?
Well, the thing with open rates, it's harder now since iOS.
Yeah.
Because people have opted out of being tracked.
Yes.
So it's much harder to know if your email open rate is actually accurate. But my thinking on that is, say it shows at like 30%, actually more people have opened it because lots of people have opted out of being tracked.
Yeah.
So actually, it's probably better than what it's showing up as.
Yeah. So you've only actually managed to get 30 because that's all we could get information-wise. So
You don't know.
we've got more, right?
Yeah, exactly. So everyone, I think, like wants a really good email open rate.
Yeah.
Of course you do. But there's so many factors on that as well, because are you sending out emails to people who are never, ever going to read your emails because they've unsubscribed or whatever, or they're just not your target market anymore.
Yeah.
So this leads on to a whole nother subject, which is around keeping your database tidy and, you know, cleaned out and making sure you've only got the right people on there. But one of the things to think about is, you know, am I reaching the right people? How am I reaching them? There's lots of different ways of reaching them. Email marketing isn't the only way to reach people, and we'll maybe come on to that in a minute in terms of other ways to reach people. But it's still a fundamental way of reaching people.
Of course it is.
I think the other thing is, like, you know, if we, you know, just focusing on email marketing itself, because I think that's a really big and detailed topic that I think a lot of our viewers would value. A lot of our audience, listeners would value. Always thinking about being live on stage, aren't
Right.
but I think that, you know, I think one of the biggest problems I know that I personally have had, and I still challenge myself with all the time, is what is going to make them want to open the email? Like, you know, and the subject line is one of the most, like, marketable real estate assets, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Your subject line has got to be the thing, because that's the thing they see in their inbox. So if that isn't catchy, your email may not get open. So you want to have really good subject lines.
What makes a good subject line, Sarah? Let's like pick Sarah's brain.
Oh, absolutely. It's got to raise curiosity or intrigue, or it's got to hook them in some way. And they want to go, the purpose of the headline is to get them to read the email. So it's got to be something that, like,
Or in this case, open the email, right?
Well, actually open the email and then read the email. But it's got to grab their attention. So it all depends what you're talking about. But what I've seen some people do, which is really clever, is to send the same email with multiple headlines and then see which ones get opened. So say you send, like, this is what some of the top marketers do. They might send one in the morning, and then if it's not been opened, they'll send the same email like in the afternoon, but just with a different subject line, and see if that gets people opening it.
And will they send that to all of their database, or
Just
the ones who haven't opened
it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Didn't even know you could do that.
Yeah. That's a ninja trick.
You should ask the guy who looks after our active campaign for you.
But that's one of the powerful things about email marketing going on to that is around segmenting your list.
Yeah.
So what that means is that you're not sending the same message to every single person.
Yeah.
You're actually sending the right message to the right people at the right time.
Yeah.
And you can do clever ninja things like if
that.
people have not opened an email, send it to them again.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've definitely segmented my list. So I know that, like generic daily emails go to everybody on that list, because a lot of my lists are very similar in terms of the reasons for opting in.
Yeah.
But then let's say if I've got something specific for my existing clients, I'll send it to that particular list, or, people who have downloaded my LinkedIn profile checklist, a certain email will go to them at any given time. But the one thing that I probably haven't been doing is that whole, these people haven't opened it, so let me send the same one, but with a different headline. That's actually very clever.
Yeah, it is.
You learn something new every day on this podcast.
Yeah, you do, right? And if you have learned something new today, you liked any part of this or any of the previous episodes or the future episodes, if you're listening to this in a non-linear sequence, then like, share and comment, share it with your friends, like the podcast, follow it on any of the streaming platforms
Subscribe.
Subscribe. There's your drop word again. Like, share and comment. The different platforms have different like follow and share buttons and all that. So just figure it out. It's an arrow. So yeah, you can figure that one out, right? Lock into your favorite one. And in fact, let us know what has been your favorite episode so far, right? And what have you taken away from it? One nugget that you've taken away from it. Today, we're obviously talking about email marketing, the importance of, and with our own expert, our lovely Sarah. And, we've already discussed about, open rates and et cetera, so not being, 100% accurate because of iOS. Do you ever see that like changing, or is it going to get worse? Like,
Or you're going to get worse
as
more and more people opt out of being tracked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is like a start though, isn't it? Like iOS was a big thing. I remember when it happened, a lot of me and marketing friends, just like ourselves, were like, oh my God, this is such a massive change. And not just for email marketing, but for paid advertising as well.
Paid advertising had a massive impact on paid ads.
Absolutely. Like, and we had to overnight reset up many, many campaigns and tracking stuff. But, it's the same with emails. Like, it's only going to get worse, right? It's not going to get any better. Like, it's going to get to a stage where the platforms will control what data they see, and they'll be the omnipotent, massive corporations, with us little people not being able to get access to that information.
But I think there's also the whole element of, and I guess this is about how we can particularly manipulate that with things that are out of our control. So like iOS updates and things like that, they're all out of our control,
Totally.
right?
Yeah.
Whereas there is the element of, okay, thinking about why is it that people subscribe to our email, and what is it that makes them unsubscribe?
Yeah.
So, I get it. Some people unsubscribe because they're just not interested in that content anymore, or they've just lost, or they've gone on to maybe even your competitors' subscribing list, which is better, subscriber list, which might be better, or they've bought a service similar to yours with somebody else, so they're now just kind of focusing on that. But what is it that gets them to, like, a lot of people, why do they subscribe? Because they want something which they've opted in for, but then they unsubscribe because they just wanted that thing.
Yeah.
But also they unsubscribe because there has been such a bad reputation, hasn't there, of email marketing, where people have just sent, spammy, salesy, non-value led emails to their list, that they've just gone, they've painted the same brush for everybody. That, oh my God, I don't want to subscribe to a list because I'll just get this. I don't want to.
You get spammed out, of course. Yeah,
because I don't think there's anything wrong with, like, mailing somebody every day, because actually, they're, people, the convincer strategy, the buying strategy from people is like, you have to see something a certain number of times potentially.
Yeah.
However, I think, people who have done email marketing really badly have given email marketing a bad name.
I think it's a combination of all the above, right? You subscribe, you want something; you unsubscribe, you don't want it anymore. And that's the basic thing there, right? And you either don't want it anymore because you've already got it from a competitor, or something's pissed you off, and
or something's changed in your business.
Like for me, I unsubscribe because I get too many fucking notifications. Like, that's it. Like, they email me too much, I don't want it. Like,
What's too much?
Depends on what mood I'm in on the day. Like
That's the thing. It's different for different people.
Yeah.
It's the truth, right? Like on the day, if I had a long day, and at like wherever time it is, because the software allows you to see what time I'm going to open it at the best rate, right? If it delivers it to me and I'm in the middle of something, that shit's getting unsubscribed.
So okay, so I have a question for you then.
Go on.
So let's say that you have 2 lists that you're subscribed to.
Yeah.
And both of them are valuable.
Yeah.
They both email you the same number of times.
Yeah.
But one has happened to get to you because you're in a bad mood.
Oh, gone, man. It's gone. I'm I'm an emotive person when it comes to that, because like, especially when I'm like in a train of thought and I'm concentrating as a business owner, like don't like.
So how does and maybe this is
but it's my fault.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So how does the emailer, as in us, how do we? We can't obviously know exactly what you're thinking at any given time. So that's just like you said. That's just something that you kind of live with.
Just like c'est la vie, I think.
Yeah, it's c'est la vie, isn't it?
It's like you can't cater for all scenarios all the time.
But potentially, someone like Vish could be an ideal customer, but he's just pissed off himself because he's seen the email at the wrong time.
I'm angry at myself for leaving my notifications on my phone. I just switched them off.
So what? How do we get you back on a list? Or how does that particular organization
your
get
other
you?
if I've signed up to you, so this is me personally. If I've signed up to your email list, I'm following you online. Like I've already got your shit. And if I'm not, then you should have the data and intelligence to feed my email into a retargeting list online.
Yeah, of course.
Now I'm talking like a marketer, right?
You are.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Now, funny that one. What's it called? The ultimate marketers. That's what we are. No, so yeah, you should have the intelligence to feed my data back into it and go, these guys have unsubscribed. Let me show them some other content that I haven't put out, or this new content, and target them with a view campaign. Like that is what you should be doing because I think unsubscribes are actually really valuable to your business.
But what if you're not doing paid ads?
So
because retargeting list is usually through paid traffic. Am I right?
It is.
It is normally through paid.
If you're not doing paid ads, then that strategy is not going to work for you. But if you're a business owner and you're at that level where people are unsubscribing for your list, and you've got a lot of people on your list, why aren't you paying for that advertising? Because you don't see the return on ad spend. But you know how much a customer costs you to recruit, and you know how much you paid for that lead. Yeah,
people might not be using paid ads as a strategy. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm saying that, but I'm saying like, why not? If you're at that level where you can't afford to put in paid ads, or it's not part of your strategy, find a different marketer. Figure out how you're going to do it, because it's a very valuable part of what the growth entails. I have re-signed back onto mailing lists because I've seen more content from people, and then I've re-signed back onto the list.
I've seen a marketer. He's well known in the States, and he markets different things all the time. So I see his ads all the time.
Yeah.
Like for one day they might be about ads. The next minute it might be about speaking on stage. The next minute it might be about creating a powerful presentation. So he has lots of different things he uses to hook people in. So even if you've kind of like missed one, you'll probably be hooked in on something else.
Yeah.
And that's very smart. He's always got something different going out, and I think he just cycles them around.
Yeah. So, and I've seen, not just from the campaigns that I signed, because as a marketer, I think you should be doing research anyway, due diligence around what's going on. But I've seen people have seasonality around their adverts and their content and stuff they put out. In fact, I was on one list for so long that the emails that they sent out to me, like a year or 2 years before, were sent out to me in exactly the same way. I was like, wow,
yeah,
that's awesome. Like this literally on almost same date. Like it was sent out to me, and I was like, wow, all they've done is just literally just fed me through that same automation.
Well, that happens. Like you get recycled round, because generally speaking, you're not going to remember an email that someone sent you a year ago.
Yeah. But then,
so you can repeat your content.
But I did, because I was like, I'm going to social experiment the shit out of this, right? And I did, and I went back and I created a folder with all the previous emails, and I had like another folder with version 2 of the emails, and they were the exact same email. Like even like the holding a 21-minute plank, like he'd have the warm up, the 5 emails preceding it in the same order. I was like, wow, this guy's just literally rinsing and repeating. And I'd already bought his product by then anyway, so I was like, I'm gonna break this. I'm gonna funnel hack this guy.
Well, you're a marketer. You're following. You're checking out
Yeah.
what he's doing, and you're looking at his process, and you're thinking, "Is this smart?
Yeah,
is it smart?
absolutely.
Is it, you're checking it out."
So I mean, look, email marketing is great. Like, we spend a lot of time kind of like looking at lists and like subscriptions and unsubscriptions. Like, where do you see it going? Because everyone's talking about the next thing as well. So is email marketing just the end of that road? Like, or is there things to be gained by automating other contact channels as well?
I think you've got multiple touch points. Like, there's stats around how many contacts does it take before someone buys from you?
Yes.
And how often do you follow up with people, and how often do you have how many touch points do you have?
Yeah.
So I do think you need multiple touch points. Email is one.
Yeah.
But one of the things we've said before is you want to take people off social media and get them onto your email list, because you don't own social media. Some social media can shut you down. Like Facebook could shut you down tomorrow, and you could have 10,000 followers on Facebook. If they're not on your email list, what are you going to do if Facebook shuts you down? So I still think it's really powerful to have your own email list and to be emailing, and it's still proven to be a really effective way of communicating and making sales. But it's not the only thing you can do.
Yeah.
So I think we're seeing a lot of like messenger bots and things like that coming up now, and a lot more people are chatting on WhatsApp, and so I think there will be other channels. Yeah. Absolutely. But I'd say use them all together.
Yeah.
I think also with Messenger, you're still ultimately taking them down the email route though, aren't you? Because you're still getting them to opt in for something where their email address becomes part of your...
Yeah.
Potentially. Some messages can go backwards and forwards lots of times though before you even get someone's email address. That's still happening on social media. So you're not always going to have their email address, but you still want to then find a way of getting their email address.
Yeah, like stuff like you're talking about like Facebook specifically Messenger, right?
Yeah, like for example, Facebook Messenger, unless you can still message them on Facebook. Totally get that, and I totally understand the back and forth messaging. But ultimately, your end goal is to eventually get their email address, so they become nurtured into your.
Yeah.
Because there's things like obviously.
Yeah, no, depends on where your audience are, right? It depends on like if they're on Facebook or not. Like I'm on certain messenger.
No, but if they
bots.
disappeared off Facebook.
Yeah, I get that.
That's what I mean. Like, you lost them, right?
Yeah, from our perspective, yes. Our aim is to get them off platform as quick as possible, so we can then nurture and engage them in our side. But I'm talking about like existing businesses and what they're doing. That not everyone's doing that, right? I'm on some that they just randomly. We've opened up enrollment, or we've opened up product. We've got a new shipment come through. Buy this stuff off us. I don't think a lot of people get that, but yeah, the aim is to get them off platform as quickly as possible.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, or to get them on a phone call. Like I
found, I was just going to say that.
Yeah, Messenger is really good because they're there. The intent is I'm talking to you right now. Like if somebody gave me a button on a Messenger bot, whether it be Messenger or WhatsApp, great strategic move by Facebook, by the way. Meta,
WhatsApp,
WhatsApp, right? Is just present them with the call button. Hey man, you've asked a couple of questions. Would you like to speak to somebody right now? Chances are they'll go bam there, and they'll do that. And I've seen that done really, really well for a lot of people. We done one for a solicitor's firm talking about wills and probate, and that worked phenomenally. They were like, "Can you just turn this off for a bit because we're getting too many phone calls? We need to get more staff in." So it works fantastically, man. Even with like WhatsApp Messenger. One of the tools that I saw the other day was Watty. Have you seen Watty?
No.
What
is it?
Watty.
What is Watty?
Watty is it's spelled WATI, and it's a WhatsApp automation tool. So it's like a WhatsApp mailer. It's a CRM for WhatsApp, basically. Amazing. One of the guys I was talking to, he's like, "Dude, I've got like an 86% deliverable rate." I was like, "That's pretty good, right?" He's like, "That's freaking awesome." And I was like, "What's your open rate?" He goes, 78%. I was like, "What, out of your 86?" He's like, No. Out of essentially out of the 86%, I'm like literally 8% below are opening my messages. I was like, wow, 92% of your list are opening your messages, man, like deliverables. He's like, "Yeah, it's awesome." He goes, "And the speed to response is even better as well. They're responding within 3 hours of him messaging out." So he's like, he can send out a broadcast, and then he knows within 3 hours he's going to be getting responses with like back in. So he can almost time those surges into his business. It's awesome. Like WhatsApp, whilst it works, you should be using WhatsApp for your business.
Yeah.
100%.
I haven't quite got onto the whole WhatsApp
Yeah. I mean,
wagon.
not even like messenger wise, but just using what's available to you in terms of like a business bot, like just having it set up so that it can handle your queries for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
That is a must for every business. Linking it to your Instagram page is a must for any business. Like you need to have that shit going on, man.
One of the things I just want to circle back to around email marketing actually is what you said earlier, Vish, about how, we're so always focused on going after new clients that we forget the clients that are already opted in to be on our mailing list. Because look, people aren't, our audience aren't stupid. Yeah. They know that when they opt in for something, they are coming onto a list.
Yeah.
So they know that if they've got value from the lead magnet or whatever they've opted in for, then the idea is that they're going to get value from the emails that we send out.
Yeah.
So, I think it's worth just chatting a little bit about how the importance of email marketing for those existing clients, because they may not buy today, but that doesn't mean that they're not going to buy tomorrow, a week's time, 2 weeks' time, 2 months' time, etc. So, and it goes back to building, we talked about this with a personal brand, right?
Yeah.
Building your brand, building your personal brand, building trust and credibility. And the more touch points, like you said, Sarah, that you have in front of them, the more they will remember you, because you've got to take up that marketing space
in their brains.
In their brains.
Yeah. But that attention, you obviously, you got their attention, which is why they signed up. The only reason they're going to sign off is because you haven't delivered on that promise, or you've done something to piss them off. My example, right?
Yeah.
But how do you, like, Sarah, this is a question for you, right? How do you change that value? Like, what are the strategies that you say help have that sequence built up? Like, what do you recommend?
So I think you've got to do a lot around nurturing your people. So you don't want to always be selling. So I think that's the worst thing you do, is always be selling. You want to be providing value. That's the most important thing. And once you've provided some value, then you can make some offers. But like Gary Vee talks about jab, jab, hook, doesn't he? So you got to do the value, and then an offer. So I think the key thing, though, is to keep this. You've got to be consistent. So there's no point in having a couple of weeks where you send loads and loads of emails and then you go quiet for 3 months.
Sounds like me.
Hey, I'm back.
Oh my God, did you read my message?
Yeah, I did read it. That's what I was like. I see everything, D. I see everything.
So Sarah, basically, whilst I was ill, and probably whilst I was in Canada, so about 6 weeks, I just not emailed my list, and up until that point, I'd been pretty good. That's the one thing I'm terrible at, but I try and email my list anywhere between 2 and 5 times a week.
Okay.
But for 6 weeks, I literally went silent on them. And then I sent one back recently going, hey, I'm back. But interestingly enough, I got a guy say to me, hey, can you send me more information about your done for you?
There you go.
I don't know. I don't get any more of your emails.
You caught him on a bad day.
I'm only joking. No, it was a good way to come back in.
That is a good way to come back in if you have fallen off the email wagon.
Like,
come back in again.
I got one the other day, and I unsubscribed straight away because I was like, this is underhand. Your payment didn't go through.
Like, and that was just to get your attention, was it?
Get my attention. I was like, no, you got.
No, that would annoy me.
Yeah. I was like, what payment? Like, I don't remember buying anything from you. And
first of all, I just go, it's spam, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's
spam.
spam. Somebody's trying to, it's a scam.
100%. And I opened it up, and she was like, that was the message that I received, and it made me feel so. I was like, well, then it's going to make you feel even worse when I unsubscribe from your list, because
it hasn't worked for her, has it?
Yeah, it hasn't. And that's another thing, like, just data, right? You can see which ones have caused your exodus of clients from your database. You can see it. Don't use headlines like that again.
Well, it's not providing value, is it?
No, it's
not. Almost like telling someone off. It's not providing any value to them.
Yeah.
Like, you want people to open your emails because they are looking forward to receiving it, and they know you're going to give them really good information.
Yes.
I know personally, like, I've got about 4 or 5 people I follow, and I do read like 90% of their emails. I've got other people I'm subscribed to, and I rarely read their stuff. I might if the headline grabs my attention while I'm scrolling through my news feed. But there are certain people I look out for. So you want to be that person that people are looking out for your emails. They look forward to them coming. They look forward to reading them. And they know that you're providing them with value. And they know that you'll make offers to them, but you're not going to spam them.
Yeah.
And you may or you may not decide to sign up. But what they're hoping, what the email sender is hoping is at some point you'll become a client of theirs.
Yeah.
So I think there's two things. There's like, for people who have never been a client, you're providing value in the hope of getting them as a client at some point in the future. But also if they have been a client, which is what Dee was saying, it doesn't mean they're never going to be a client again.
Yeah.
So you've got to keep in touch with people who have been your clients because potentially they'll come back to you.
Yeah.
Or they'll refer you to someone else.
Yeah.
So as long as you're providing value, as long as you're seen as valuable, people are going to pay attention.
100%. And I think, unfortunately, a lot of businesses look at the database as an asset to string out as much sales as they can from immediately. Is that immediacy, right?
Yeah.
Want it now, right? And that's why once those emails start becoming transactional, then it's like, come on, man, like you're not providing me any value. Like, what are you doing? That's when I switch off as well. Yeah. Like, then it becomes like, oh, we've got our latest offer, and and you can see those companies because they're the ones that email around kind of calendar events, right? Like, whatever it is, Mother's Day, Valentine's Day, we've got a special offer on Black Friday. I hate that stuff because it's like, where were you the rest of the year? Like, now you want me to buy something from you, you're here knocking on my door, bowl in hand, but what about all the other value that you actually said that you would be providing for me? And and unfortunately, a lot of businesses fall into that trap because they do look at it like, well, we've paid for this data, we should be able to. Well, no, because people are human. They're gonna turn off, switch off very, very quickly, right? So that's a really important thing. So really important thing that they should bear in mind is not to go in straight for the jugular, but give some value out, man. Provide value.
It's about building relationships at the end of the day.
It is. That's what's called a nurture sequence, isn't it?
It's nurturing the relationship, building the relationship with them.
Yeah.
With the intention of hopefully getting them as a client. But if they don't and we were talking about stats at some point. So we were saying like at any one point in time, 3% of people will be ready to buy. There's 30% of people who will never buy from you. What you want to be focusing on is that big group in the middle, this about 60% of people who are interested in what you do, but they may not be ready to buy now.
Yeah,
doesn't necessarily mean they won't be in the future. You want to be keeping in touch with those people so that when they are ready to buy, they think of you and they don't go to your competitor.
I mean, that's a great statistic, obviously taken from an even amazing book, right? Chet Holmes, the ultimate sales machine. That, like, even to this day, that's how I start the majority of my presentations. Like, because caveat that. That's how I start the majority of my presentations around advertising and marketing when it comes to paid advertising versus organic. And I give the example, like 3% of people looking on Google. Like, that's cool, but why don't you generate a list and concentrate on 60%, 67% of your market is, right, that are potentially going to be interested in you, but they just don't know it yet. Right. And that costs you, once you've acquired the lead, it doesn't cost you anything to keep the lead, but it does cost you when you lose it. So why don't you just provide value? Because one day they're going to be so overwhelmed by what you're doing. They're going to be so like gratuitous towards you because they're happy that you provided them so much value that they'll be like, actually, the first person I think of when it comes to this is Sarah. I'm going to go to Sarah right now. Yeah. And they may not even be in front of an email when they do that.
Yeah.
But the fact is you've got that space in their brain. Like, this whole sports shoe example, think of a sports shoe, Nike, bam, done, right?
Yeah.
That's what it is. You want to be the Nike of your field. You don't have to be as big as them.
And I think that, because we obviously talked about like social media and things like that as well in terms of other touch points, but it's the same. Yeah. There is like that big, 60%, there's 30% of people who actually don't even realize that they even need your service. They haven't got the problem. They're just completely oblivious to it. But you've got that 60% who are either have a problem and don't realize the solution exists, or have a problem, know a solution is there, but haven't got time to look for it right now.
Or they're just problem unaware, right? Yeah,
and then you've got like you said, there's I split that further. Like I've got 3% who are ready to buy right now, and then 7% who know that they have the problem and are specifically looking for a solution. They've just got to realize that you're the right one.
Yeah,
and but it is that 60% in the middle. That 60% in the middle who are going, actually, I've seen Sarah, I've seen Vish. So, whether that's, and that's why consistency in content and email marketing, as well as content marketing is so important, because that visibility you've got to be in front of them.
Yeah.
On an ongoing basis, so that when they do really need your service, they only have one name in mind.
Yeah, man. And they signed up, man. They signed up. They qualified themselves to be on your database. They knew they were getting signed up for this. They opted in, right? GDPR rules, man. Like they opted in, and it's fair game. Just don't mess it up, right?
Yeah.
It's like a relationship, right? Just don't do things that are going to put you in hot water.
So what's a good ratio then?
Yes.
What's a good ratio between value-led emails versus promotional emails?
I would say value, offer. Now, I wouldn't necessarily do that right at the beginning of a relationship. So if I've got somebody who's just opted in for something, I tend to advise doing like a series of 7 emails that does the welcome and the nurturing before I make an offer. And the offer might be a soft offer, like book a call.
Yeah.
It may not even be like a paid offer. It might be book a call. So I think if they're brand new on your list, you need to do a little bit more nurturing up front before you do anything.
Agreed.
Try and get people onto a call. Then from there, you can do sort of a sequence of value, offer, value, offer. You definitely don't want it the other way around.
Yeah.
Yeah, offer value.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
Offer unsubscribe.
Yeah, that's what's going to happen.
That's right. Depends on what mood they are. You might even get the first offer in. But yeah,
the best analogy I've ever heard is Ryan Dice's analogy of like dating and marriage. So he always said, like, if you met someone in a pub for the first time, you wouldn't go up to somebody and say, "Will you marry me?"
Yeah.
Chances are, like 99.9% of people would say no.
Yeah.
He said, you go up to them, you have a chat with them, then you might go on a date.
Yeah.
Then you might go out for dinner. Then you might go to the cinema. So you do a lot of dating before you get to the point where you even decide if this is someone you want to spend the rest of your life with. And that analogy has always stuck with me. So it's the same with marketing. You want to do the dating and not go straight in for the marriage. The marriage is like asking for the sale day one. You want to do the dating before you go in and ask for any.
Yeah, absolutely.
marriage.
And I modified that. So when I talk about the 4 base example. Right, because it you know,
First base, second base.
First base, second base, third base, fourth base, right? You know, and or you strike out, like you get struck out. Like what happens when you go for the big shot, you get struck out. Like the more you take those big shots, the more you strike out. Like you got to get somebody into first base, second base, and third base, and that's when you get a home run.
Yeah,
you know, essentially, and everybody wants a home run, right? Who doesn't want a home run? But it's really important. So to summarize, like, what would you say? Like most important things, Sarah, like when it comes to email marketing and the automation around that as well.
Most important thing is to don't start straight away with starting to build an email list. Don't wait, because if you wait 10 years, you'll definitely wish you started at the beginning. So start building your email list from day one and just start sending out those emails and just focus on value and giving people your best stuff.
Yeah.
Like, don't hold back. Give people your best stuff. Build those relationships. And once you've built the relationship, then you've earned the right to start making offers to those people.
The money is in the list.
The money is in the list. Dee, what did you take away from today's chat?
The one bit of advice that I would give, because I know that I've just not done this all the time, is consistency. Like just having consistency around the emails that you send and not forgetting that email list, because they opted in for a reason. So why ignore them? You know, we're always chasing after the new. It's a bit like Virgin Media, isn't it? Like, or Sky, or wherever you've got your TV and broadband from. You know, you get that really good offer, like, you know, 25 quid for the next 18 months per month. And then after that, they forget you.
Then it goes up to £1 billion.
Yeah, they give you the worst deal and they give new customers the best deal.
Yeah, man.
Well, actually, we've got to look after those people who are already in our circle and in our ecosystem. So consistency of nurturing the people who are already on your list.
Yeah, there are some great takeaways, and I think, you know, for me, the biggest thing about what I've taken away from today is cancel culture. Is like cull your list, like be ruthless, you know, but also test subject lines with senders. So if somebody doesn't open your first email, send it again later on.
Yeah,
you know, just have that programmed in and like just get that done, because I think that would save a lot of unsubscriptions and also get you closer to where you need to be in terms of your headlines and providing value and stuff like that. So yeah,
I just want to follow on from something that Sarah said actually about the fact that, you know, start building your email list now.
Yeah,
I think, you know, just to, after you listen to this episode, just realize how important email marketing is in your marketing strategy.
Yeah,
and don't ignore it. Like, that is a really, you know, that is the one type of marketing strategy that will, you know, last a lifetime.
Yeah, absolutely. And remember, you know, these things are all facets to your marketing. You shouldn't just put all your eggs in one basket. Like, you need a balanced marketing mix, you know, and a marketing strategy that incorporates all of these things, not just email marketing, not just paid advertising, not just posting, not just, you know, relying on a personal brand. All these things in combination, once done to a certain degree of proficiency help you become bigger and successful. That's why, delve into the podcast episodes as and when you see fit. Like, you don't have to go through them in a linear format. Like, we might have put them out in a certain format, but they're certainly not recorded with a linear format in mind. So we hope you have gained much from today's episode, all about the importance of email marketing and a little bit of automation as well. If you have, then it would be great to hear from you. Like, share, and comment wherever you can. And subscribe. Yeah, absolutely. Like, share, comment, subscribe to your favorite podcast, The Ultimate Marketing Guide with ourselves.
This is your marketing guide, direct into your pocket.
We should have called it like public service announcement. Loads of those. But yeah, like, share, comment, subscribe. I've been Vish. We have got the lovely
Dee
and the absolutely fabulous
Sarah.
And so we will see you on the next episode.